What's going on, guys? Gonna get this out to you because it's, well, I kind of posted on with a little reel or something with some music, and a lot of questions are coming in. Everybody's excited about it, so I'm just gonna do this quick video. I'm gonna live fire this tomorrow, which by the time you see this will be today, if that makes sense. So it's evening time. I'm gonna get out to the range tomorrow for me, and you're gonna see this today. But this is basically just doing some dry fire with it. And that is the new steel frame lower from SIG, the SXG. Okay, so this thing, man, just take a look at that. Tell me that does not look good. And you know, huge shout out, thank you to Max Michelle for sending me his personal lower, because you can't get these, so that I can use this for nationals in a week. So very thankful and grateful to him for that, and allowing me to, you know, put this thing through the ringer with some harsh practices and nationals next week before I ship it back to him. So I'm just borrowing this. This isn't mine. Kind of looking at the verbiage, it sounded like it was mine. I wish. It's not mine yet, but I'm going to get one just like it. So once they're out, then after this goes back, I'm gonna get one of my own done just like this with these. So I wanted to talk about this particular setup, which is obviously, one, right now it's like you can't get it until they're out, but two, it's even more elusive because it's got these beautiful carbide grips done by Carbided on Instagram, and beautiful work here. So the inlays, and these are panels, right? I'm not going to take the liberty of taking these off or anything. This is not mine, that's just borrowing. But what I did have to do, just so you guys, you future owners of this lower, right? What I had to do is change out the stock magwell. I believe it's the stock magwell. One, I didn't want to scratch it up because Max hasn't even used it. So I didn't want to be putting too many miles on it, right? I want to respect it. But it comes with, and I got it right here, it comes with this magwell right here. I believe this is the stock one. I could be wrong, don't take my word for it, but this is what I received on the lower. So I changed that out, and this is an AXG, if you didn't know, which I'm sure most of you did if you're following or looking at these, this is an AXG frame. The same specs, this is just steel and it's full length. So here's an AXG that I had, and it also has panels, and I've got the brass panels in there, and you can see, if you can see if I'm doing it right, it overlays, it's just the exact same. So same grip angle, same pattern for your magwell. So I just took the one I had on this and put it on Max's just for the time being, so I can beat mine up. I'm okay with hurting my stuff, but I'm going to try to take care of his within reason, because I'm trying to also do my best at nationals, you know. So if I win a title, I don't know if you're getting it back, but we'll see. So anyways, just something to note though with this stock magwell that comes on, or at least that this came with, is I used typically the 17 round mags. So the 17 round mags with the +5 from like Henning. I even have some Taylor Freelances that I get from Grayguns, and those would not feed into with that magwell on, so they would not engage fully. So I had to switch it out, or at least take it off for that reason. I do have a few 21 rounders. I don't prefer those, so these ones are set up with John Vlieger's dry fire weights in there. So I could have taken those out and ran, I think I have 4 or 5 of those. So I could have ran that. I just don't prefer them, and I have what I prefer, the Hennings, the +5 on the 17 rounders. So that could have been a solution, but it was kind of a twofer. I didn't want to damage his brand new magwell. And then also this one, it's a little bit bigger and it accepts the mags I like. So how much bigger? So just something to note, this is a Springer Precision, you can see their emblem on the back, brass base pad, big old magwell, not base pad, magwell. And this is what I believe to be the stock one that comes with it. So this is a lot more forgiving, plus it's more added weight as well, especially if you're running limited optics as I am. And then, of course, for the upper to complete this build is the Grayguns 320 Lockwood with a Grayguns trigger kit in there. So that trigger is that little bit of take up and then a nice clean break. A lot of you guys like to see the reset, and then I'll let it out right there. So it's pretty, for me, that's where I like it. So a little bit of movement, but right at around 4 pounds is what I prefer. I run the Align Tactical takedown lever, or I just use it more as a reference on the draw. With that fast draw, I just get my thumb there and I know I'm good. And then for optics, the Hollow Sun 507 comp. You guys know all about that by now, I'm sure. But yeah, it just so happens I have my match uppers for that I run for matches solely this year are that brushed steel. Basically, it's just bead blasted, and it just goes perfect with this lower. So this turned out just beautiful. It feels like it's made for each other, of course. This is what I've run for matches in carry optics with the TXG lowers, and there's nothing wrong with that right there. It runs. I mean, I've run this thing. You look, there's the magwell. It's chewed up. It's about time for a new one, which I have a couple newer ones. But when you do these carbide grips, it's kind of like you get it right or you don't. But I've gotten a couple right, but a lot of times it's not quite what I want. However, I will tell you, and I'll shoot this tomorrow for sure, but in dry fire alone, especially, obviously the magwell helps with that pinky, but this carbide that Carbided is using, it's great stuff. It's better than what I'm using, I'll tell you that. So it's got better grip, and it's obviously newer, so it always has that new feel when they're a little bit grippier. But he's using a little bit better carbide than what I've found, so I'm gonna have to. Well, I'm just gonna have him do mine. I'm not gonna bother doing mine anymore. I'll just send it to him, have him do them, and then they'll look like this. Look better, feel better. It's a win-win. So, anyways, just wanted to run over a couple things with you. Just some differences that I noticed just in dry fire. So with the AXG as well as the TXG, it just has that little checkering pattern on the front of the trigger guard, or the front of the lower, basically under the trigger guard. With my scoop draw, that's not a problem if I have a magwell. But if I'm running it like this with no magwell, that's a problem because I use my fingers to lift it into the webbing between my thumb and my pointer finger. So that, for me, that's something that I really look for. I want really aggressive grip up front. But with this steel frame, I notice, and obviously the magwell helps, this steel frame, it seemed just so balanced. Just the extra weight compared to the aluminum, for whatever reason, I didn't have as much of an issue immediately. So in dry fire, in live fire was always a little easier with the AXG because now I have a loaded mag in there, or weighted mag. That was helpful with my scoop draw. With this thing, I can scoop this just fine without even a mag in there, and I'm pretty sure it's just due to the weight, the balance this creates. Especially with, I run a 4.7, so my Lockwood is a 4.7 inch slide versus the 5 inch, so it keeps, I think, even more balanced. So I'm really excited to see this shoot, guys. I'll post this one just to kind of like get you guys interested maybe in the next one where I'm actually shooting this at the range. So maybe bait you a little bit because, man, that's just a good looking gun. So, and I've got plenty of good looking guns. So I'm not, not one to brag, but I like all of them. They all look great. But this thing, holy smokes. I think this is just on another level. It's just beautiful. So I'm excited. I hope you are. Man, this thing, and it fits my holster just fine. I run the Big Dog steel holsters. So they're just adjustable. They lock. So you can lock and trust that it's not going to fall out if you're running around taste or anything, but man, this thing is just beautiful. So there's nothing in there, and a lot of times in dry fire for my scoop, that'll screw me up. But with this thing, not a problem. Beautiful, right there. I'm excited, guys. Hopefully, I'll get this out to you soon. I'll shoot it and get that video out to you soon so you guys can see what this is doing, at least in my hands, with the ammo I'm shooting. And yeah, give me some ideas. Tell me what you want to see with this thing while I have it before I have to give it back. And then you definitely will see some stuff. If nothing else, nationals, you'll see how I do with it. And then I'll give some of my thoughts about it after nationals as well. So that way, by then, I should have, between now and nationals, I'll probably, in a week's time, I'll probably put about 2,000 or 3,000 rounds through it. And then at nationals, get done with that. Then I'll have, you know, another, maybe, I won't have 5,000, but I hope to have, by the end of nationals, probably 3,000 to 4,000 through this in the next week. So we'll see. I'll give my reviews after that. It'll be kind of short before I got to send it back, but still, I'll know what it's doing by then. And I'm pretty familiar because I've shot the AXG before, so it's not new to me as far as the grip angle is slightly different than the TXG, but not enough to make a huge impact. So, all right, guys, I'll see you on the next one, and stay tuned.